Welcome back to the Buyers Agent Institute show. Today, we have the wonderful Kath Pearson here to join us. Kath now runs her own buyer's agent business called Maison Advisory. Welcome, Kath.
Thanks, Chief. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. How's the day been?
The day has been intense.
Intense?
Busy.
Good intense?
Very good intense and very rewarding.
Fantastic. What does the day in the buyer's agent life look like for you?
Oh, for me it's probably a little bit different to many, given I have 3 big babies.
How old are the big babies?
18, 17 and 14.
Wow.
We've got HSC and school holidays at the moment.
Okay.
So it's juggling and balancing all of the above.
Okay.
But they pretty much do that independently. So it's a perfect stage in our lives for me to sort of be in this position where I'm starting up this business or have started up this business. They're young adults, so they're very supportive. And I guess they're my drive behind what I do on a daily basis. Amazing. And you know, when you don't know any different, it is what it is. Yeah.
So today, like, what did the day look like for you?
Today started very, very early, up near Hornsby.
Okay.
First thing this morning. Back from Hornsby to meet with a client in Mossman, a beautiful family I'm working with at the moment who are looking for a prestige family home on Balmoral Slopes. So it's a lovely brief to work with, followed by empty nesters who are really struggling with being in a position where they're selling their family home after 29 years up near Pymble on a 1900 square metre block of land and wanting to downsize to nothing larger than 350. So they only want for 2 bedrooms, only want for 1 to 2 bathrooms. So it's a very significant shift in their lifestyle and the choices that they've made. But given the fact that they're going from one environment, so to speak, to another, they're really struggling with doing it on their own. It's not so much the fear factor, it's more they're going into a world that is unknown to them. So they just want to make sure they do it once and they do it right. And they have missed out 2 weeks in a row at auctions. So they literally missed out on a Saturday auction. I'd met with them the Friday before, knowing they were going to hopefully secure this property. Unsuccessful, called on the Monday, signed up, and we got the wheels in motion. And we've been successful in this 2-week period in just showing them off-market properties. Wow. So that for them is very much the golden ticket. Leaving those clients to then go and pick up gorgeous clients I'm working with who are here from Singapore, expats with Google. And we literally have 7 to 10 days to find the right property, which will initially be an investment opportunity. So we still have to look at the numbers, look at the yields, and then they will come back in 18 months to 2 years to live in the property. So there's the emotional factor, but it's also a numbers game.
This is the day in the life of a buyer's agent.
Yes, Chief, it's exciting,
so,
isn't it?
A bit of background on the Chief. Kath and I used to work together back at Coen Handler, so it's a bit of a, I guess, friendly joke, or how would you describe it?
It's a loving.
Okay, nice. So you've obviously got a very, from I would gather, a very diverse range of clients. Yes. Expats, primary residents, investors, different budgets. What does the diversity, like in summary, look like at the moment with the clients that you're working with?
In summary, at the moment, it's the most diverse portfolio of clients that I've had.
In a good way?
In a great way. So we are going from, so interestingly, I've got 3 clients from Singapore at the moment, 1 from LA. So one of them is purely an investor in the early one to mid ones, but then I'm working with clients who have budgets of 10 to 12 million. So we very much sort of sit at the 2 different ends of the scale at the moment, so to speak. And then you've got the families looking sort of for the family home anywhere from 2.5 to 3.5, and then it jumps again with another client up to that sort of 5 to 6 mark. So very different profiles of families, and with the expat clients, they've all got very distinct different needs at the moment, which is a good thing because, as you know, I would never take on a buyer or buyers rather that have similar briefs, because for me that's conflict of interest. And at this point in time, it's a really good sort of profile of very specific briefs, very much tailored to, you know, the client's shifts in their lifestyle. And that can be anyone from, say, the empty nesters who are significantly downsizing to the clients who are expats who are repatriating back here, who, you know, have a significant amount of money as a result of 5 to 8 years overseas, who are now ready to buy the big family home.
Will all the expats, so you got the 2 in Singapore, the 1 in LA, will they all fly out to look at properties, or some of them buy?
Yes, so one has been here, and we have very much been through, they were here for 2 weeks, and I called it the process of elimination. So we really narrowed their brief down. In fact, it was almost too broad. So when they got here and we sat down, we had 4 weeks prior to them arriving to really sort of introduce and educate them on where the market was currently positioned, what they could achieve, so that when it was, you know, feet on ground and ready to go, there weren't any sort of nasty surprises or red flags. It was all the green flags, and they were very prepared for what we had to present. And we were very fortunate, there's no denying at that time, we were very fortunate to have a really good you know, profile of properties to show them. So it has been really narrowed down to almost specific streets in Paddington and Woollahra that they're looking.
Yeah, and sometimes it's good when you niche it and be specific.
It's great,
with the clients.
and then they'll come back in about 3 weeks. But in the interim, we've had a Skype call with him, and we've got 3 properties in the pipeline, and they will buy. Their family would come, so they've both got their parents here, so they're in a position where if we get very close to expressed interest, they'll make a decision based on their parents' final word.
Why did you become a buyer's agent?
That's a really good question. Well, I had the relocation business, so for about 10 years I ran my own relocation business called Vine Relocations.
I remember.
And prior to that, I sort of had an interest in the expat market off the back of what was a very strong period in the mid to late 90s, where expats were coming out here but with very lucrative budgets, and they were all very dependent on relocation agents doing everything. It was very much a tailored service, from housing, whether it's buying or renting, to schooling, to assimilation periods and education on everything that they need in order to get settled while they relocate to, you know, a foreign country. So when I was very much involved with that, I decided then to set up my own business, and it was a very boutique niche market. I was very fortunate, again organically, to just fall into a corporate sector where I was looking after sort of high profile people who basically were having everything done for them in that process of, you know, packing up the family over a 6-week period and bringing them to Sydney.
The full concierge service.
It's a full concierge service. And then the opportunity came up when I met you with Coen Handler, and I thought this is a market that really can still be tapped into. It was quite new. For me it certainly was. But I felt that not so much there was a gap in the market, but there was a really good opportunity to potentially create a culture around what I believed was my core value proposition. You know, and as you can appreciate, and I certainly do, my sort of market is very tailored to understanding people's personal needs. So I think that there are core factors around having trust and ethics, and there's got to be a bit of empathy in there as well, because it's a very emotional decision, and I felt that I possibly had the strength of those tools to really explore the buyer advisory side a bit further. And you know, at the end of the day, I started to really, really enjoy it. It's so rewarding, because people are so dependent on what you offer as a point of difference in the valued service. And I felt that in that, I do still feel this service industry is very much growing at a rapid rate.
Yeah, and there's also...
People are time poor.
A low amount of buyer's agents.
Low amount of buyer's agents, yeah. There aren't a lot of buyer's agents in the market, but there's certainly an increase in the dependency for buyer's agents.
Yeah, it's growing,
Very much.
And I mean, I mentioned at the beginning that Kath runs her own business now, Maison Advisory. How long's that been running for?
So about 6 months now.
Yeah, so it's reasonably fresh, and
Yes.
I personally think because there's not a lot of buyer's agents, the ability for someone like you or anyone to start their new business, you can move forward quickly.
Absolutely.
Because the client's not sitting there expecting to see, are you from Ray White, LJ Hooker, McGrath, the established brand? They don't know any different. So I think it's an incredible opportunity, right?
I think it was perfect timing too. Because as you said, it's still sort of a very niche market, and there's so much wealth in that growth and opportunity that you can explore. So I felt the timing was perfect for me, and I feel that, 6 months down the track, we've got really strong qualified clients we're working with, and I think that's really important because, as you can appreciate, clients need to see value in what you're offering, and you have to have a point of difference. And I think everybody creates their own culture around their brand, but it's a great time to create that brand and build the culture around it.
It's amazing. And I guess recently, what's been the biggest month that you've had in terms of property value that you've bought?
So most recently, close to 20 mil.
Close to 20 mil. It's
just shy of it.
It's good.
Yeah, that was an awesome month.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah.
Why are most buyers engaging you, would you say? Like, what's the... Is there like a trend? Like you said, sick of the person who missed out twice before that earlier comment. Are you seeing something?
That was very much the pain factors, but that was also driven by the fear factor because they were coming into foreign territory for them. But for most buyers, I would say one of the key contributing factors is a lot of people are time poor, and they feel that because they're time poor, that's creating hurdles for them during the process. So, you've got clients who just can't get to opens on a Saturday, let alone midweek. But you've got clients who feel that because of that, they're always a step behind. So they make a decision to take 2 steps forward and get very proactive with their buying position, and then somehow they feel like they sort of fall backwards a little bit. And I think the more they see the shift in the market, and I think another really strong and significant factor to all of this is that with the shift in the trends with the market, and because we've seen we've seen fickle results in certain pockets of Sydney, people just don't know what that means next. They don't understand what's potentially coming next. So they want someone to sort of write the story for them and help them on that journey.
Just guide them.
Yeah, and I think that there's a level of intimidation when it comes to not knowing the market.
A big one.
Significantly, yeah.
How important for you are real estate agent relationships?
Oh, it's crucial. Absolutely crucial to the equation. Because you are so dependent on real estate agents. When we're talking to buyers, one of the first questions, some of them who don't understand, completely what the service offers, they will say, so you go direct to vendors? That's one of the questions sometimes they ask. And I always say, absolutely not. We are dependent on the agents who have built a database of clients that they've been nurturing, or they've got a really strong pipeline. And that relationship is core. It's absolutely key to being able to present to clients, not just off-market and pre-market opportunities, but also a little bit of, additional knowledge and information around the on-market stock and where it's trading, and they help you with positioning your client. And that's helping us in turn too. But that relationship is so important. It's a key factor. Always be present. Even if you don't have clients who specifically fit that property, still go and see that property. Because you don't know what's going to be around the corner. I don't know if I shared my most recent client purchase.
No.
So
you're doing too many. I can't keep up.
4th of March this year, agent invited me to an off-market property, and he said, look, we get access rarely. It's a high-profile executive rental. The owners live in Hong Kong. I can get through, come and have a look. So we went and had a look, didn't even question it, with nobody on the books that fit that brief for that price point. Fast forward, went back again in July to refresh the memory. Then I had a client that fit the brief perfectly, and we had to wait about 6 weeks to get through. But the big, I guess for me, I've thought a very positive path for us was that we got to show them other stock, and it built their position and understanding of where they needed to be in order to successfully secure a property like that. Fast forward, agent calls and says, you won't believe it, we can get access to that property, but we've got from 1 till 3 on Sunday. Get the client there if you really think it's the perfect one for them. Took them through on the Sunday, exchanged on the Tuesday night.
And that just reinforces what you said earlier about going through just going through the stock just to make sure, because you never know where
you never know where it
it's gonna
comes
be.
from. Who would have thought when I went back through in March
It's a great story.
that the client would end up buying the property in September?
It's incredible. You've worked corporate, you've
Yes.
run other businesses before. What do you love so much about this new business? Obviously, your buyer's agent business. In comparison to the other stuff that you've
That's
done.
a really good question. I think what I love about it most is it's very rewarding. It's always exciting. Every brief is tailored to a different client's needs. So nothing's the same, and so therefore every experience is another journey. And I also love that you're constantly building the relationships with the agents, and you reap the rewards, because that dependency, it's almost like you feel a bit like you're paying it forward sometimes. Like, turn up, be present for them, because then they'll acknowledge your presence in return. But more than anything, I think I'm most proud, for want of another word, of the fact that I went along this journey over the last few years, which started with you, and didn't really know where I'd end up with regards to market
your career.
or a career or a certain profile of a client, because really in this industry, you don't really target a certain profile of a client. They sort of come to you, and that strengthens from the referral base. So I think I also love, there's nothing better than working with a client who refers you to the next client or to their best friend or to their work colleague. And I feel like I've finally got to the stage where that's happening consistently now.
And that's a true representation of the service.
Well, that's
you
the best
provide.
testimonial I feel that you can ever receive.
You said rewarding before when I asked you. Can you elaborate? Like, is it financially? Is it flexibility? Like, what is it?
Yeah, it's all of the above. Yes, it's financially rewarding, but the flexibility and the opportunity to manage your own time to meet the client's needs, I find that really rewarding. I find when you have such a successful result, it's something that you can't help, but it gives you a spring in your step. And I think it's great to be in a job where you start off with something and you're on a mission. You're on a mission, and you've got the method by which you need to follow in order to achieve the result. And I think when you get the results and you feel like things are pretty much 9.5 out of 10, I find that really rewarding. And then it sort of makes you not hungry, but excited for the next opportunity.
Yeah.
And it's a challenge too. I think in a career path, when you feel like you get to a point where you can sort of, blink or do everything blindfolded, I think you're constantly learning. I am consistently learning in this role. Always learning from colleagues, learning from myself, whether it's through mistakes or things that I think, gosh, I didn't realise I did that so right, and I'm now rewarded as a result. But, and learning from the industry too. Yeah,
I think what I've noticed running a buyer's agent business as well is, because as you said, you're dealing with so many personalities, so many clients, you're out and about so much. You're not stuck in an office dealing with the same employees or staff members. So you're getting a taste of so much different diversity. I feel like on my journey is like you grow personally and professionally so much just through all the experiences. Do you feel the same?
Yeah, I really do. And I feel that mental stimulation is so rewarding. And I know it sounds sort of very personal and almost cliche, but that's a reflection on your personal life too.
Yes.
There's nothing better than coming back, home from a rewarding day and thinking, right, now I get to sort of switch off from that, so to speak. Not that you ever really switch off.
Yeah.
And I think you don't switch off because you're so passionate about it. And you're always wanting to do right by the client.
That's right.
So, but I feel like it's sort of, you're constantly learning, and you can never quite be don't get too complacent.
Yeah. Another, as we're finishing up, I mean, you've obviously done so well in such a short period of time. Like it's been what, 3 years or
Yeah, just over 3 years.
So it's been over 3 years.
Nearly 4. Yeah.
It's been, and I mean, what you've done in that period of time in terms of your profile, you're now running your own business. You've got incredible real estate agent relationships. Obviously, your clients. You've got such an incredible, like, diverse range of clients, and they're obviously referring to you now. So you've done, I think, it's a lot in a short period of time. Like, what would be your advice to anyone who's looking to maybe make a career move into this space?
Patience is a virtue, I think. For one, you've really got to invest the time in building that relationship, those relationships rather, with both colleagues and agents alike, because really the agents are your colleagues in the scheme of things, and learn about the market so that you can earn that in return. So you've just got to always be a step ahead, and it is, you know, in the initial stages, it is a process. But as I just said to you before, you know, 4th year in and I'm still learning. We're always learning, and accept that, and don't always think that you have the answers, because if you're questioning whether it's the right answer, then you don't know whether it's right or wrong, really. So, but I think for anybody who's wanting to get into the industry, taking it into consideration, it's so exciting and it is so rewarding, and that time will come and it certainly pays off. But it's making sure that you just, as I said, you know, you've got to understand the culture around your own business and what you're trying to achieve. And for some people, that's just focusing on investment opportunities. For some, it's very much sticking to a specific catchment and primary residence. And for others, it's just sort of, you know, being out there and being present and working with clients with really diverse briefs. So, but there's so much opportunity, so much. So explore all the opportunities and don't ever sort of question it, just ride the wave.
Yeah.
I think if you ride the wave, it sort of comes to you in the end.
Yeah, and you said patience is a virtue.
Patience is a virtue.
You've got to play the long game, right?
You do, and you've got to build the relationships, but that's in any industry.
Yeah.
And building relationships means building trust as well. So to have an agent call you and say, I've got these off markets for you, the response is go and see all those off markets, but then don't forget to call them and thank them afterwards. That I cannot tell you, I had one agent this week, I called on Monday to give feedback after Saturday's private inspection. And he said, you know, you have no idea how much that means, that you just actually come back to us so that we can go back to our vendors.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's been, for me, seeing your journey, it's just been a privilege to watch it, just to see how you've, I think, built such incredible client relationships and trust with the sector, with real estate agents, with clients, and now you're building your own business. So I appreciate, obviously, you being here and just sharing your journey, because it's remarkable. It is a short period of time, and I just can't wait to see your future and your profile build further. It's amazing. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank you for
it.
having me.
Thanks for all your
I really appreciate
your wise advice. Thank you.
Well, you're my mentor, and you know, you've got to always be listening to those who have taught you so much. You just keep learning.
Thank you.
Keep growing. Thanks, Chief.
It was awesome to have Kath Pearson join us today and really dive into what she's achieved over the last 3 to 4 years in her buyer's agent journey. So thank you so much, Kath, and thanks for being here today, and we'll see you next week. See you there.